Hi, this is Bruce Colbert from BPT Partners, and I'm live at the BPT Partners Social CRM Seminar here in Silicon Valley at SAP's Executive Training Facility, and I'm with Paul Albright, the Chief Revenue Officer of Marketo, which is a leading solution provider in a new category called Revenue Performance Marketing. Paul, welcome.
Good to be here. Thanks, Bruce.
Great. Good to have you. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah.
Paul, you hear the group in there. Everybody's kind of clamoring for, how do I drive new business with social? And,
right.
And of course, so how do you see, companies using social and how they're extending the capabilities of marketing automation? How's it all coming together to help them drive new business?
Yeah. Well, first, it's great to see the interaction. I mean, it's a full house. It's packed here, so that's terrific. Good job to yourself and your partners. But I love the fact that there's a lot of discussion around social and where social is going. Social CRM is going to speed it up. So CRM as a concept has delivered great value to companies, but then how do you expand that? Because I think buyers make decisions in two ways. Number one, you go to your social network, your buddies, and figure out what they recommend or how they bought a product and what they think about it. And number two is you do search. So those are really the two ways that people figure out what do I have preference and what am I going to buy. And so therefore it speeds up the whole process. And the challenge is how do I get my product or my brand in front of people when they're starting to figure out what I want to buy and they're checking through their social networks and doing search. And that really presents the opportunity or the challenge. The companies that do a better job of that are going to be the winners. The ones that are still doing selling and marketing in the old-fashioned way of more one-to-one or direct sales model, where the direct sales reps are doing more of the cold calling and the development of leads, etc. They're going to be the losers going forward. You got to act faster than that.
So, Paul, you use the term revenue performance management, and so could you just help me understand what you mean by that, and then how does social media, social interactions impact that?
Sure. So if you think about revenue performance management and Marketo in particular, the way we coined the term was that revenue performance management does three things. Number one, we help companies to do a better job of creating preference and therefore increasing the pipeline and leads through social mediums as well as through search and across the different types of spend that marketing puts in place, whether it's events or it's through pay-per-click, search engine optimization, etc. There's a lot of ways that companies are creating affinity for their own products and creating more pipeline. Second thing is to increase sales productivity. Marketing does their job of qualifying the opportunities. Sales should be spending a much higher percentage of their time selling or closing deals, not cold calling or prospecting. So that's the second thing that RPM or Marketo is doing extremely well. And the third thing is, how do I make sure I'm managing my spend across sales and marketing in a way that's optimizing my portfolio? So I've got certain parts of my budget on the marketing side that's going to be focused on creating new interest and new leads and awareness. Another part that might be about accelerating them through the pipeline to close. And then I may be doing advertising and more thought leadership things in front of that as well. What's the right mix of that portfolio? How does that change? Because a word or a social campaign that's working this week may not be working a month or a couple weeks from now is one challenge. The other thing is that I want to be able to look at across all my different lead generation engines to figure out what's having the best effect on our business, and that's increasing substantially. One of my customers I was talking to last week said that a year ago they had about 30 sources of leads. This year they have about 300 to 400 sources of leads, different flows coming in the company, and next year it's going to be over 1,000. So I think in the future it's impossible to manage this manually. Marketing is going to end up looking more like a financial services trading floor, and we're going to help to automate that and to add speed and figuring out where is my optimum spend across the portfolio, not only in marketing but in sales as well.
Paul, you talk to hundreds of customers all the time in your role. What are you seeing in terms of some of the social strategies or social techniques that are impacting revenue performance? Anything good that you could share with us?
Yeah, well, part of it is I want to be able to understand and score interest socially. So, for example, we've integrated Marketo with Radiant 6. We work a lot with Jigsaw as well. You're going to want to understand when somebody's coming in. Inbound interest into your company. Where are they coming from? What are their demographics? How often do they hit your website? And then you're going to want to look at behavioral aspects. So where do they go to on your website? What do they download? And therefore, how do you nurture and develop that interest? One of the questions that I talk a lot about to CFOs and CEOs is what percentage of your bookings this month or this quarter are coming from inbound interest, and then what percentage of those bookings are coming from slow leads. Leads that may have came in 6 months ago or a year ago that you've nurtured and are now popping up in your booking at this quarter. Almost 100% of the time, the answer is I have no idea, which obviously isn't a good answer. In most companies, we think it's about 5 to 6% of bookings. In our customers, we're quickly getting them into the 20s, 30s, 40s. At Marketo, as an example, we're at about 50% of our bookings are coming from slow leads. So that's found revenue in a lot of examples, and you're already paying for those leads, so let's do a better job of nurturing them. And that comes from a good job of scoring and figuring out, using demographics and using social awareness, figuring out how do I figure out which ones are the ones that are more interested now. What do I offer them next that they see value in? And when I give you value, you're going to give me more information about yourself, and we're going to develop that relationship and that trust over time.
Excellent. Paul, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
Bruce.
Bye-bye.